As the debate around mass immigration rages in Ireland, the people of Coolock and Dublin are expecting the opening of another centre for asylum applicants in their community. Residents in this working class part of Dublin have held a number of marches and protests at the opening of the centres and have in the last few weeks established a protest camp in front of a location earmarked to be the next asylum centre in their community. Much has been said in the media and amongst the political elite with regards to such protests and indeed the protesters themselves, calling them far right, purveyors of hate, and in the latest by corporate media journalist Mick Clifford, inferring the people and communities objecting to such centres are, and I quote, the gutter. I decided to visit the latest protest camp on the Malahide Road in Coolock, facing the Odeon Cinema. It was Sunday evening, and as I spoke with a number of the protesters, I asked them why they were there and how they felt about being labelled far right and the gutter. Here's what they had to say. Amanda, you're down here at Coolock, you're from the local area. Can you tell me why you're down at the demonstration this evening?
The government is planning on putting up to 500, the government says, they're proposing to put up to 500 undocumented male migrants into this commercial building here. The government said it's for families and single people, male and female, but we don't believe it because they said that to us before and they already have them housed up in the Holiday Inn here, just up the road here. The hotel has them. They're hanging around the garage up there. You know, myself, it's quite unsafe at night. They're hanging around in gangs and stuff. So we have them already in the area. Our area is struggling as it is. We're a deprived area. We've high unemployment among our own here. The services is bursting at the seams. Doctors, GP services could be up to a week, 2 weeks to try and get an appointment. Dental services to schools, we're bursting at the seams. In November 22, we took in the Ukrainians from the war. We welcomed them in with open arms. They came into our community, they integrated. They're in our schools and stuff, and we just couldn't cope to take in anymore. And you know, and the fact that we know they're going to, you know, they done it up in the Holiday Inn. They said it was for families and Ukrainian families who are going to house, and they didn't. It's all male migrants up there, and it's going to be the same here. We have a UCI complex over there, the cinema and the Leisureplex. It's where we all go bring our children at the weekends and stuff, and we just won't be able to come out because there's nowhere for these men to go. They're going to be hanging around the shopping centres, they're hanging around up at the hotel as it is, and you know, we feel quite unsafe in our community.
Yeah. Especially as you say, it appears that a lot of them may be unvetted from the point of view that we don't really know
and that's the
who
fear.
They are.
You know, I mean, I can't travel to another country or come back into my own country without knowing who I am. You know, and we have an opt-out clause under the Lisbon Treaty. The government can opt out because I think we've taken in enough people. You know, it's not a race thing. We are not racist, far from it.
What kind of response are you getting from your local community? I can hear cars beeping as they drive past.
Fantastic response. I've been on the protest the last 2 years. We went and we helped Ballymun, Finglas, and now it's at to come into our community. And you can see the momentum, people's views is changing. Before, you know, people were calling us racist and far right and all this. But now we see people's view is changing and they're seeing, you know, it's government policies.
Yeah. How do you feel about being called a racist? Like Mick Clifford, who's a national journalist, wrote that the votes from here were votes from the gutter. How do you feel when you're belittled like that?
Very disheartening. You know, and to think that, you know, one of your own fellow countrymen or, you know, would call you that and think that of you. I mean, you only have to look around. You know, we're all women, children. That's all that's out here. You know, we have the men is here too, but it's predominantly women and children. Yeah. And we're out fighting for our children, their future, our grandchildren. You know, the landscape of this country has changed so much. It's actually frightening to see the change that, you know, in our country. You know.
How do you know? Are you from around here?
Yes, I'm from Ballymun.
You're from Ballymun. What brought you down here today?
The car.
We'll start that again, will we know? You always get fucking one, don't you?
No, I'm only joking, yeah. No, I come down here, I used to live up the road there in Darndale as well. And I have 4 sons and grandchildren and sisters living in there.
And what's your concerns here today? What's happening?
My concern is about unvetted illegal immigrants being put in working class areas across this country for no other reason than what the government is telling us, which is lies anyway. The government will never tell us the truth anyway. But we want to know why these people are put in working class areas all the time, and they always seem to be put where there's children and women and men going across over here, here. Yeah. And there's 6 schools around here, different schools around here.
So a big part of this is about these guys being unvetted.
It's
that
a
nobody
concern
knows.
that you have people coming into this country, we don't know their background, we don't know where they're from, who they are, do they have criminal backgrounds? We don't know. But the government are telling us lies when they say these people are vetted. They're not vetted, they're unvetted. That's why they're illegal. How can you vet them if you have no documents? If they don't have a passport, how are you supposed to know who they are? So the government is lying to us.
And I was talking to some of the women that came down from the community, and they were also talking about not just about security and safety concerns. They were talking about it's very hard to get a school place, to get a doctor's appointment, stuff like that. Have you experienced any of that?
It's the same in Ballymun. There's 600 of them in Ballymun, where I'm living. I protest in Ballymun every Wednesday, and have been since 2022. We have a protest in Ballymun that we never miss every Wednesday. And up there it's the same. Doctor's appointments, mental health, anything. You cannot get a doctor. If I rang my doctor a couple of weeks ago looking for an appointment, he said I can book in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And what good is that? And don't forget, all these people that are coming in here, they have a free medical card, they have a free travel card, and they have free access to all the Dublin County Council leisure centres. Free access to everything. And yet, people down here can't get a medical card if they're €5 over the quota, which is wrong. So basically what they're doing is, they're looking after the people that are not from Ireland, they're not looking after the indigenous people, they're looking after these people, and I think it's deliberately to annoy the Irish people, to cause trouble, so they can do what they want and bring in whatever laws they want, like hate speech and emergency services to lock the place down. But these people are not coming over here to work. These are not doctors and engineers, what Leo said. There's none of them doctors or engineers. Some of these people are thrown out of prison to come over here and given money to their own government to get here. And yet when they get land, they've no documents. What other country in the world can you go to without a document? Can you tell me that? You can't. You have to have a document getting on the plane. You have to have a document getting on the plane. When you get off the plane, you have no document.
What do you say, Noel, to people? As an example, Mick Clifford, who's a national journalist, used to anyway, but I think he still writes for the Irish Examiner. And he had an article out this weekend in a national newspaper saying that the politicians that are starting to support the communities like these communities and these campaigns, that they're actually looking for votes in the gutter. This is the word used by a national journalist describing the people of Coolock and Ballymun who were demonstrating. What have you got to say to people that are describing us as racist and saying that you're from the gutter?
But then that fella that said that there now, I don't know. Well, like the government, they all think we're in the gutter. The fact that we're here, and any newspaper in this country, or any RTE, Virgin Media, Today FM, News Talk, they'll all put us in the gutter because they're all paid. They're all controlled by the WEF. We all know it. The cat's out of the bag. What's going on? They want to take away our Irishness, our heritage, do away with anything Irish. You've got Mary Lou going around wearing a hijab. And Mary Lou wants abortion for men. What sort of a politician wants an abortion for a man? Do you know any men that have babies? There's 8 billion people on the planet, and every one of them came from a woman. And we're supposed to support people like that and put them in government.
There's a rumour going around the camp today that the Gardaí might try to break the camp up tonight. Are you guys determined to come back if that happens?
What they'll do is, they've done it in Rosscray, they've done it in Santry at the road, and they've done it in Newbridge. They let this fizzle out for a while, hoping that it'll calm down. They'll come down at 2 or 3 in the morning with the public order unit, with a big load of heavy coppers, heavy-handed, and they'll just throw people aside. People can't stay here 24/7. They're out working, they've got kids to look after, things to do. The government knows that, and so does the Garda. And the Garda are just a private security company for the government anyway. And they'll throw the people of here aside like they did before. And they'll just push these people in. And as we always said, and we're saying to the politicians again, we have no say. And as they say in Dáil Éireann, We don't have a say in who comes into our community. But we do have a say who runs our country. And that's coming up shortly, and we will decide. And it won't be those in Dáil Éireann now, especially Sinn Féin.
I've lived around this area well over 50 years, and you know, the people around here are absolutely amazing people. There is a lot of problems in the area where, you know, we can't get places for doctors, can't get school places for some of the children. I could go on forever, you know, but basically I'm here as a concerned citizen, and I would hate to see 3,000 people being put into this area, that a lot of them, as we all know, and you can lie all you want to all the media, a lot of them are undocumented and unvetted men, and we do not want them in our community. We want our children to be able to play, we want our children to feel safe, we want the elderly to be able to walk up the road, we want to use our plex, we want to use the Burger King over here, but we can't do that if it's across the road from 3,000 unvetted males. So in this community it won't be happening. And with it being a working class community, I have noticed a trend that's happening, that they seem to be putting a lot of these undocumented males into working class communities. And I'd like to ask the government, why is that?
And tell me, there's a lot of people, you know, throwing names and slanders around like racism and hate, words like that. We have the Irish national journalist Mick Clifford essentially using the word gutter and saying that the people that are out demonstrating are from the gutter. In an article over the weekend, he said that politicians were writing looking for votes in the gutter, so I presume he means that the people here. How does that make you and the people here feel when you hear this?
I'm not surprised, you know, this is what they're throwing about, because really at the end of the day, who's in the gutter? Only people like that are coming out speaking about their own people like that. You know, we're concerned citizens, we're afraid for our children, we're afraid for our elderly, and we're in the gutter because of that. No, I won't accept that, definitely not, you know. The people in this area are amazing people, you know. And you know, you actually had, I think it was, I'm not sure of the paper, so I'm not going to name, but I remember them saying, oh, I went to the protest in Coolock and they were all wearing this jacket and that jacket. My God, is that the best journalist you can do? Yeah. Like, if you talk to the people, you might find out why they're here, and they're certainly not here because they're racist. Definitely not. There's an Italian here, as we just spoke to. There's been loads of different backgrounds coming to this protest, because the immigrant community in around this community is as concerned as we are.
Okay, so you've been speaking to people who maybe emigrated here 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, and I'm in a gym in the area, and in the gym I'd say about 35% of the people in my gym are from, you know, Portugal, they're from Brazil, where else? They're from all over Europe and all over America and all. They're from everywhere, and they're so concerned about what's happening, because they're saying they're afraid that this will impact on them, which it won't, because the Irish people won't allow that to happen. No. You know, and we love immigrants. You know, the immigrants have given them so much in this country. They've been amazing, and we hope that that'll still foretell. But unfortunately, what they're bringing in, like illegal males, undocumented, and they say that they're running from their countries because of war. I understand that. Why did they leave their women and children behind? Like that, I don't understand. Because usually you'd put your women and children first, and then they follow. They'd stay fighting. So what's this all about?
You hear a lot of cars beeping. On the other hand, you have the national journalists who are calling you haters and racist and in the gutter. But from what I can hear, there's plenty of cars going past beeping support. Have you got much support from your community?
Oh, the amount of support around here is unbelievable, you know, and the people around here, wherever it comes to, which I hope it doesn't, you know, that they try to push these people into this area, then you'll see this community coming out, which I hope doesn't happen. I hope that the government see what's happening in this community can't happen, you know, for all our safeties and for all our sakes. And that's what we're asking the government, you know. Please wake up and stop trying to push this on communities that are already, you know, we have problems with mental health in our young people, drug problems, drink problems. We've every problem in these communities that have not been looked after, that nobody has done anything about, and now they're trying to push 3,000 unvetted males on top of this. Just can't happen, and unfortunately it's a very sad day actually for the Irish.
You come down to Coolock to this demo today.
Well, I'm here for the sake of the kids of Ireland. It's not just for the sake of the kids of Coolock, it's for the sake of the kids of Ireland, and everyone in Ireland has been and will be. Those that are coming into our country and trying to move them into this brown paint.
Right, yeah.
We have enough. Enough is enough in this country. We cannot take any more. And it stays here and stops here. That's it. It's not happening. As far as I'm concerned, I will sit and I'll stay here every day of the week if I can. As much as I can. I'm going on 60 years of age and that's why I'm here. It's for their parents and my grandkids and kids of Ireland.
How are you, Joan? We're down here in Coolock at the demonstration against the opening of another asylum centre in the locality. What are you down here for exactly, Joan?
Well, I'm down here because I'm a local, and I'm worried about like what's going to happen when they put the men in here, or if they put the men in here. They're saying 500 women, children, families, but we all know that's bullshit because it's been proven everywhere that they're all men, unless they can take a few from a few of the centres, you know, borrow a few from a few of the centres. But they're saying Ukrainians. But we all know that they're not Ukrainians. International protection applicants coming from Georgia, Palestine, Somalia, you know, Georgia, Algeria, all these kind of countries, you know. And we already have a load of them up in the Holiday Inn there up in Coolock, selling drugs, causing trouble in all the local parks. So Coolock has enough, you know.
Okay. And so we have the safety and security issue about these people not being vetted, we don't know who they are, etc. A lot of people have also expressed concerns about their day-to-day lives in terms of being able to access services and things like that. Have you had any experiences of difficulties in your community?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to get a doctor's appointment, you have to wait a week. You know, if you want to go up to the hospital, you're there for hours. You know, there isn't, like, I've heard of people who can't get their children school places because they're giving preferences to the international protection applicants. But even in relation to what all these men coming in here, what do they do all day? They sit around drinking, they're not working, they're just getting like three meals a day, they're getting heat. You know, what they're proposing in here is these porta cabins. So they're going to put the porta cabins in. How much is it going to cost to heat the porta cabins in that huge building? I mean, I don't know whether you have a photo, I'll send you on a photograph of the actual size of the building. It's absolutely ginormous. So the porta cabins are going to be made and put in there, and then whether the shower facilities are going to be separate or in the individual porta cabins, we've no idea. But there's across the road from here, we have the Odeon Cinema, and we have the Plex, and we have Burger King. People are not going to allow their children down around here. So, and the guys in the Plex have said that their business is gone if they put 500 or 1,000, we all know it's 1,000 men in here. And even down, there's a load of schools on this route, and an awful lot of kids go to school by this. Do you know what I mean? So people are going to be afraid to let their children anywhere out. I mean, there's a memorial park just around the corner, and there's another park called Farswood Park, and there, like the other morning there was about 50 men from the Holiday Inn just roaming around, like, and kids play in the park. They've nothing to do all day, they sit around drinking. We had to clear a crack down out of the Farswood Park there a few months ago. So coming up to the summer now, how many more of them are going to be like, you know, crack, and there were foreigners in the crack down before anybody even attempts to say that we're from Coolock.
Okay, and there's a lot of labelling going on that the people down here and people on similar demonstrations around the country are full of hate, they're racist. Mick Clifford, a national journalist and a respected national journalist, said this weekend, wrote an article in which he said politicians that are starting support campaigns like this are looking for votes in the gutter. So he described the people that are at demonstrations like this as being from the gutter. What's your response to that, Joe?
Well, my response is he that overly educated, that he's indoctrinated and stupid? Because the people who live in the working class areas are the people who literally run the country, because they do all the jobs that keep the country going. Like imagine if the bin, I said this already, if the bin men went on strike, or if all the plumbers and the electricians who are from the menial areas, how would that sort the country out? And then the neck of them, like nobody's better than anybody else. So just because you might have a college degree of indoctrination doesn't mean that you know more than the average Joe. You know, the salt of the earth people that live here in Coolock.
And on the other side, I've been here for a few hours now, and there's a lot of cars beeping and giving support as they go past.
Well, I heard one of the NGOs did an interview, and seemingly he just be down in Parnell with the diverse people, and he said that he was here for ages and not one car beep. It's hilarious. People are dropping stuff off all the time. This community support's absolutely amazing. Like, it's amazing the support that we're getting from everybody, you know. And people are coming down here. The kids are playing together. No laptops, no iPads. The kids are all having a great time. And unfortunately, it's not what we want the kids having here. But you know, it's a community thing, so it's all about the community is saying no.
There has been rumours today in the camp that the Gardaí may be coming tonight to clear the camp out. If they do so, are you guys planning to come back? Are you going to maintain your demonstrations?
Well, if the Garda do come and clear it, well then I think it's time for Kulok to come back out and have another protest. And the people of Coolock need to come out and show the Garda that that's not happening.